Alright guys, we're back for another installment of our online chemistry labs. Today we're going to be looking at what's called limiting reagent or limiting reactant, depending on who you have. What we're going to look at today is the reaction between copper-2-sulfate and some iron filings. I have pre-measured these, and I will put the numbers at the end of this lab, but the 100 milliliter beaker had a mass of 49.5 grams. There's exactly 8.00 grams of copper-2-sulfate crystal in here, and there is 1.40 grams of iron filings. As you will read along in the lab as you're watching this, we're going to take the copper-2-sulfate and add 50 milliliters of distilled water. Now distilled water just is purified water. So we have 50 milliliters in there. So I'm going to set it on there. And we're going to heat that up with continuous stirring. As we're stirring it, you should see that it's going to turn a nice blue color. So I make sure the gas is all the way on here, it's off down here. I am going to strike, as always, hold it underneath. Get my floppy flame first, that's what's going to happen. We'll adjust it. And as the lab says, we want to heat this up while stirring, but not boiling. So I'll show you a little bit of that, and you can tell it's getting a nice blue color in there. Okay, this is going to take 4 to 5 minutes before it's all aqueous. So we'll be back with you right after. All right, we're back at it here. It's been about 5 to 6 minutes. I just turned off the heat. This is a nice blue color, cobalt blue in there. And as the lab says, we're going to remove it from the heat. Going to put it down here on my pad. Okay. The next portion says add small amounts of the iron and allow it to sit for 10 minutes. So we're just going to slowly add this in there. That 100% transfer, and as you can see right away, well, you might not be able to see it from there, but the iron changed from a dull gray to almost a brown copper looking color, and it's actually starting to react even better. I'll give you a close-up after it settles down a little bit. It's cool enough to touch. We'll give this a stir. You might be able to see in the video right now, it's changing colors. Let's see. Yeah, it's still a little too hot to pick up. But we're going to keep stirring this, and you might be able to tell the color of the liquid has definitely changed. I'll grab my hot hands here, see if I can't pull it over there and have you guys take a peek at it. Okay. I don't know if we can see that or not. But red background's pretty terrible. I'll put it back. But it went from this really nice looking cobalt blue to now it's almost a teal looking color. I'm just gonna let that sit for another. All right guys, it's been about 10 minutes. We took this off, it's cool to touch now. It definitely has a different color, it's almost a greenish color. And the stuff underneath is a nice copper tone. So what we have to do now is to make a filter. I pre-weighed this as 1.20 grams filter paper. For those of you who don't know how to make a filter, I'm going to show you real quick. We bend it in half, fold it, bend it in half again, fold it, make a nice little cone looking thing. And then you just grab one section, open it up, put it inside our funnel, and I'm pressing down on this to hold it down. We have to adhere it with some water from a squirt bottle. Now this doesn't matter in the mass because we're going to end up drying this in the oven anyways. So it's stuck on there, put it here, and I'm going to slowly filter the liquid out, making sure that you never allow the liquid inside of there to go above the top of the filter paper, and then you just kind of waste your sample. So we're Tossing her in there, is coming through nice and clear. Most of it is starting to come down, but as you're gonna see, the solid remains behind. See that in there? It's stuck. So instead of using a squirt bottle and squirting it down, we're actually gonna hold it up, so when I squirt the sample, it comes down, and I'm not just washing it back down into the bottom of the beaker. So I'm gonna rinse the whole thing out like so, making sure I collect all the product. Because what's going to happen next is we're going to take this product, we're going to put it on a watch glass, and we're going to go throw it in the oven for about 3 to 4 hours, but for you guys it's going to feel like 3 to 4 seconds. I want to give you a quick look at the product before we dry it out, but I want to let this all drain out first. So we started with some iron filings, and now we're left with some red crystals. Hopefully you can see that well. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this off on the edge where it's tripled over, pull it up, then I'll place it on a watch glass, throw it in the oven for 3 to 4 hours, and we'll get the mass for you, and then I'll put all the numbers all together so you don't have to try to remember them or scroll back through this. So hang tight. Okay, I just got the sample out of the oven, completely dry. I'm going to throw it onto the balance real quick. It has a mass of 2.80. 2.80. That will be the filter paper and the product. Let me give you a little close-up of this. So there's the product now. So you can see that the iron filings changed when added to the CopperIISulfate. Here's all the information as promised. Purposely left a couple things blank. We're not going to do number 5 since I used filter paper. You can figure out how much the substance weighed by subtracting the 2 numbers. Use this data, and please complete the rest of the calculations and post-lab questions.